Hello and welcome to midweek edition of Wardy's Waffle. You can see we've still got the blackgrass pullers here behind me. Got a big team here today. There's 13 of them. We've just got one more field to do, and that's this field of naked oats. There's quite a lot of wild oats in it, but they have only got 2 days to spare because they need to be on another farm, so they brought 13 people. So I've moved the welfare trailer this morning, and we've got some big bags here as well. You can see some big seed bags because they need to take those to the far end of the field where there isn't a lane as such to get rid of the smaller bags that they put the oats into. So we'll have to leave those big bags in the crop, combine round them, and then lift them out after harvest because it will run a lot of the crop down if we go in with the forklift now. So yeah, this is the last field we're doing. So they've been with us from the first week in June. So they've done a cracking job, and I'll have a full rundown on the costs of it when I get it all worked out and put into Gatekeeper. Anyway, that's just it about the blackgrass pulling. What else in this update? We are various jobs around the farm looking at oilseed rape intake. We've started to put some rape in the shed from ADM. We store rape for ADM, as those of you who know. We started to do that, and one or two other bits around the farm. We're also doing the garden of the new house. We're starting to prepare that. We've got some turf coming that has been used, I think, at Anfield, and so we've got some turf coming for that, and which is great. Thank you, Simon, for that. So we've got to prepare the ground for that. Got some soil to bring in, and but that needs to be done fairly soon, and obviously while the weather's like this, it'd be good for the turf. So we're just preparing that garden. You'll see us put the turf in the ground in probably another week's time. Anyway, that's it for this update. Let's crack on with that, and if you make it to the end, we'll see you then. We're just getting sorted out where to go. You can see from here the patches of wild oats. The big patch there, another one there. It's the lighter areas you can see as you're looking into the sun. So there, some nearer here, a bit more near the road end. So yeah, they're taking the big bags because that's where they're going to put them in at the far end. Chris Bailey has just brought our new contract tipper. Hello, Chris. $17 to move the stone and soil and everything else we've got. We've been struggling with old trailer to do this, so we've got grain chute on the back, you can see, because we will use it for seed, for a bit of wheat as a spare trailer when we need 3 trailers. We've got these new tyres on, BKT tyres. It's a new type brought out, and they are 560 60 for 22.5, 17 tons. Air brakes, suspension. Have a look underneath here. So that will be a good one. Chris just putting the pipes in. Just want to have a look at it tipping and open the back door. Not quite sure how high it tips. Now open the back door. Hydraulic back door as well, which will be really handy. That opens nicely well up. Then the idea is as well that what we'll do, if I can get him to stop it, is that we can close this door a little bit more than that if we want. If we don't get a grader sorted out for putting tarmac planings in, we can dribble them out through the gap in here in the door, so that'll be a lot better. So just see how high it will go right up. But we're going to get some extension sides for it to come from the top of that headboard to come back down to the back, so we can use it as a bit of an overflow grain trailer, and it will hold, apparently this will hold 14 tons. Oh, it goes ever so high, that does. It holds 14 tons when it's full of when it's got grain and got those extensions on. There's the air tank for the brakes. Good view from up here, everything, how well built it is, really solid. So when you look, that is the trailer we've been using, the stone and soil, and it's about 30 years old. It holds 10 and 11 tons. We're always getting punctures with it. And we're taking stone and soil and stuff, and so this one will be so much more useful. So we've got a valve there that says push the shunt. So that's if you, because every time you disconnect the brake cables here, the air brakes will come on. So if you want to move it with a tractor that hasn't got air brakes, you just press that, and that dumps the air out the cylinder, and then you can move the trailer, because with air brakes, it's the air that puts the brakes on, not takes the brakes off. So that's it inside. So we're going to use this because sometimes we need to tip out of an elevator, so that's why we've got a grain chute on the or grain hatch on the back door, which they don't fit very often, I don't think, on these type of trailers. High level lights as well, so you can see better when you're when you're coming on the A17. We've got a lot of traffic and we're trying to turn in the gate here. Got some more wheat going today, as well as Chris bringing the trailer. This is still the remnants of our July contract. I know we've got a bit of time to go yet in July. I think we've got 3 or 4 loads left to go. There's about 1.5 loads in that other shed left in there where we're taking the wheat out of. I think there's maybe 2 loads left in there, and we'll go in the other shed. So just looking at the floor in this shed that you saw from my last week's video was blocked. Yeah, you can see that brightened it up. So this is the area where the white lines are. So from here, around there and back down there, this is the bit that was blocked. And if you look, whether you can see the grills there, there's a little bit there actually, can't quite see it, but that just shows that's still a little bit blocked there, but it just shows what good the washer's done. So we'll do the whole lot this next year when we finish with the rate, and make sure the floor's really clear for our wheat. These are the trap doors. If those of you noticed last week, I had some weights on the doors holding them down. That's split a bit there, we need to repair that. These are the trap doors that you open, and when you're blowing it, you open the sections there that I showed you last week, at the flap inside the shed, and then all the rubbish comes to the end here, and then you can lift those up and hoover it out. So that works well. You just hear Tom there with the leaf blower just cleaning the floor up next door. Yeah, you see this floor's fine. The grills here, when you look into them, the grills are fine, so it's never had oilseed rape in it this side. Leaf blower's really handy, rather than the shovel. These grills are just a bit deep to brush with the shovel, so the leaf blower really makes it easier. A lot of dust in this, you can see, from last year. Last harvest with it being so dry. So you'll see on the side of this shed, Ruben's just going to show, you can run the bucket tight there along that edge and not damage the shed or the bucket. Shaking it so that we don't spill any. So down here you can see this metal, and that's angle iron, so it comes down underneath here and then it goes that way under the concrete. We've bolted it down to the concrete and then slope from here up that way, so there's no shoveling. So this is much easier to deal with it on the side here. And of course, having this stanchion, all this depth, is to get more graining, because a lot of people put these concrete panels on the front here, so you end up with a smooth side down the shed, which is all right, but you imagine the amount of extra tons of storage we've got when you look at all those panels level across here to there, and the depth that is. We get a lot more tons in than if we put the panels on the inside. One other job we've done is we've needed to start to get the garden at the new house ready for the turf. So we need to remove the compaction, and you can see here Tom put the flatliner subsoiler, the Simba subsoiler, on the 8RX and went in there only yesterday to loosen it. We've had a lot of rain over the weekend, but it was surprisingly quite dry because the soil is decent in the garden. Yes, it took some pulling because we've gone in there with a Manitou all over the winter, and when Ron's needed materials taken in, packs of bricks, tiles, anything like that, any materials, we put all the metal beams in that way through the back. We have actually compacted all the garden, and so we've loosened it up with a subsoiler, and it's actually done a decent job. It has lifted it up quite well, and with all the rain we've had and the water over the weekend, it was surprisingly dry, but it's done a real good job here, as you can see. We started oilseed rape intake for ADM. We've got about 6 loads in here at the minute, so we're just pushing up. When this shed's full, it'll hold in the region of 1,300 tonnes in this section, and over there, up there and across there, there's another section we hold some more. Just got to make sure you don't hit those pedestals, because if you hit them, they're made of aluminium, they do bend easily. And you can see down this shed we've got the angle iron and the concrete as well down here. See there? Screwed under the floor that on the way down there, then concreted up. Works so well. Got a fancy reversing bleeper. Ruben's just going to open the back door. Some of them have air doors on. There you just click a button on the side here and it releases the air catches. This one doesn't. So you just have to unscrew that screw there and then release that catch off that handle. You're going to go back up to the heap now. This rape's quite clean that's coming up to now. Some of them, the heap's white over when you tip it. This is just left over from the pods and a bit of the straw at harvest, but that's really clean. That is, the admix on that will be really low. Beauty of having a big tall shed. Trouble with the rape, it flows around all the wheels, all the axles, all the air brake system at the back. Trailers are really poorly designed. You can see there, still flowing out the holes in the wheels. And all on the ledges there. We blow down every trailer load, because otherwise it just takes rape all over the yard and it grows in all the cracks in the concrete. Just pulling on the weighbridge now to weigh empty. Get the tickets. That'll be another 29 tonnes brought in. Yeah, that's one of the bad spots where the rape sits in, just under there. On all the axles under there. Just really bad design. So I can see they are at it again. Our lovely, beautiful friends called fly tippers are back. Look at this mess. We have got asbestos here. That's what that is. Lots of tiles. Obviously a job's been done somewhere and they couldn't be bothered to go to a local tip and get rid of it. So they come to the tip here in the beautiful countryside in Lincolnshire. Absolutely disgraceful. Yet again, this needs dumping on number 10 Downing Street to let them realise what's going on here in the countryside. So please, Environment Agency, it's North West Stephen District Council, please get on this, because this needs sorting and it needs sorting quickly. The what 3 words location of this heap is Marzipan Combines Power. Put that in what 3 words and you'll find out exactly where this is. I just wish I could find an address or some correspondence here from the person who did this, because if I could, I'd be putting that in our forklift bucket and dumping it over his garden wall. It's just absolutely disgraceful that I think they can do this to our countryside. Got Barry back with the excavator. We're having to scrape off this soil on the garden because they've got a chance of this turf from that was being used for Anfield. So we're having to scrape this off. Some roots there I have to pull out. But needs a bit of topsoil putting on as well, decent topsoil putting on. And then this is the new hedge down the side that we've planted, and this is the other grass that we put in. This came from a job that was going to the Millennium Stadium at Cardiff. Thanks to Simon for this and the Anfield turf. There was an old hedge just under here, that's where those roots have come from, so we do need to get those out, I think. So the idea is we're going to scrape all this off here where it's high, then all across there where we've subsoiled. Of course with the John Deere in there and the subsoiler. We're going to scrape all that off, bring a bit of nice soil in, and then roll this turf out here. And it'll be, there's little patches here because there's 1 or 2 bits of weed grasses growing, so I round up those off, but I got some of the other turf around it. But I have actually just started to, well, because of the wet, I've got 1 or 2 there. I've actually scraped them out, put some sand in, and reseeded these little areas. So they'll be fine. They'll be growing and germinating. They'll be fine. So that's it for another midweek edition. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. You can see lots going on at the minute, and there's lots going on out the window because it is raining yet again. Hopefully there's not too much so that we can carry on with the garden and get it ready for the turf that we need to do and fetch some soil with the new trailer. It'd be a great addition to us. And also, one thing isn't a great addition to us is the extra fly tipping that you've just seen. Again, carrying on, and I've just seen on BBC Look North on the news tonight that somebody took some bottles to a bottle bank, council bottle bank. The big tanks of bottles were full, so he left them in a bag at the base of the bottle tank. He was caught on camera and he's been fined £400 because they consider that to be fly tipping. Well, I think it's deplorable that they make an easy target like that. There's a camera above catching him or not catching him, just putting the bottles there. They prosecute him because they see him. Yeah, this big fly tipping is just seen near me tonight. They just make no attempt to find those, and they just target the easy ones, which I think is not right. Anyway, that's my rant for this midweek. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Sunday.